questions that people. Oh my gosh, I'm a little dirty. I'm dirty. Don't mind that. Hello.
Hopefully people can hear us. I don't know if the mic is working, so we'll check
If
it out.
anyone does check in, you let us know if you can hear us. Testing, testing.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
So I guess just a quick little intro. My name is Anel.
My name's Noel.
We're on his channel today. I also have a YouTube channel we're trying to grow here. Today we're going to be covering pretty much what happened is we put our kids to sleep. So we're like, we need to record something together because just trying to get in the habit of being on here more and share things that we've learned along the way in our journey. And that is self growth and also as a couple. So we're here today to share some things that have helped us in our journey as a couple because we have been married about 8 years now.
Yeah, 8 years.
We have 2 kids, and our
We didn't have the we didn't have the best of start to our marriage, to our relationship. We knew we wanted to be together, but it was also something that we were kind of like forcing in a sense sometimes, and it kind of felt like we were just not on the same level. So we needed to do a lot of healing work, a lot of self work for sure to get where we're at, and I think we've managed to
we're in a
get to
good place.
to be in a good place, to be in a good spot.
Doesn't mean
Um,
there's like we're always learning and growing, and there's always going to be room for improvement. We're always going to want to elevate ourselves. However, I think we're in a really good place, and to where we've learned so much about us and about our couple. So today that's the question we're gonna be covering pretty much.
Also, let us know how the lighting looks on your guys' end. I mean, I think it looks pretty good on our end. I
Yeah.
wish the sign was the other way, but
So we're in Central Cali. Right now it is 9:40, about between 10 p.m. So yeah, the question we're gonna be covering
we already
today.
went over the topic, right? What we're going to be talking about.
No, we didn't actually.
Yeah.
The topic. So there's a topic.
Yeah, well, let me see what the topic is again. Pretty much, we're going to be talking about how to strengthen your relationships through self improvement and mindfulness.
And through that, like how we mentioned, is doing the inner work. Doing for us is like doing the cold plunges, meditating. That's been a huge game changer for us. So that's something I'm a big advocate about, and something we've experienced the last 2 years. So I feel like we know enough to
Monica
share.
shows hello.
Hi, Monica. So today we're going to be sharing some information on how to elevate yourself. Doing your own inner work, and as a couple, we're here
How
to
to
share.
how to better your relationship if
Exactly.
you
How
have
to build a
couples.
relationship. If you don't, it's amazing because you still need to learn. You should want to learn on, once you do have a relationship,
Yeah.
significant other. So first question, I'm gonna just cover random questions that are within this field. Hello. Hey, Clavia. I might be saying that wrong, but hello, hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
This is the first time we do something like this, so we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do something like this. And by the way, can you guys hear us? Like, give us a thumbs up or something. Let us know if you guys can hear us well, because we don't know if the mic
We're
is
just
working.
recording on our phone with the mic with
So
a cord on our phone, so we'll see if it works. First question is what inspired Eclabaya 7,000? Not sure what that means, but hello.
yeah,
So first question we'll be going over is what inspired each of you to begin your self-improvement journey and how did it impact your relationship?
you can go first.
So I'm gonna share what inspired me. So pretty much, honestly, it was not by chance. I'm gonna put this a little higher because it's too low. Hello, what's up, Iron? What's up, Mr. Sam? Said hi, hi. Thanks for checking in. We're going over some relationship advice. What has helped us? And the first question is, what inspired us to go through a self improvement journey, and how did it impact our relationship? To be honest, I think it was just meant to happen. However, we were both kind of in this self development phase. One time it was him. He was very into like listening to self improvement, the Tony Robbins, all the motivational. Eric Thomas. Is that
Yeah,
his
we
name?
started out. We did start out with like
Eric Thomas was a
first.
big one for us at first because it was
Yeah.
just like the gym. So one time Noel was very into the gym. He was very into like, come on, let's grind, let's wake up early, let's get our work in. And I was not for it. I was like, no, I don't want to go. I'd make excuses not to go. So he got kind of like, upset, let down, or what do
More
you?
like this, I would say like discouraged. Like it was like, when you're like on a high, and then somebody's not on the same level, they're kind of bringing you down, and then you're kind of like, okay, I want to be with this person, so you kind of bring yourself down to their level, so then you can I guess, feel more comfortable and feel like you guys are on the same page. So I think that's what kind of that's how that kind of started.
Dang, I brought him down. You know what? And I felt the vibes too. I would feel like kind of like, damn, I'm bringing him down, but I really don't want to go. So that's kind of how it started. That was 1 year. The next year, I was on this all time high. I was like, I want to get fit. I want to work. I want to grind. And for me, grinding was like waking up early, going to the gym, learning. I was in school, so I was like, learn something, you know? But he was not into it. Like, he was kind of like, don't tell me what to do. Because you know what? What's one thing I learned? No one likes to be told what to do.
Absolutely not.
They're going to have to figure it out on their own to
That
do
goes
it.
both ways, honestly, because
Yeah.
like I can't like if I tell you what to do, I think
Yeah.
it makes it worse.
Yep. He went down. Oh my god. So pretty much that's what happened. And then what happened one time, there was a free event for Tony Robbins, like a
Hello from
online
Brazil.
UPW. It's called Unleash the Power
Brazil.
Within. And honestly, that's where our life changed. Going doing that online free event, it kind of jump started as like, all right, this is pretty cool. There's more to life than just what we're doing now. Like we don't have to live life in like a bad mood all the time. You know what I mean? Like you choose the life you live. Honestly, it's your perspective of the things you do. So we kind of started taking another stance at things. And then from that free event, they had another event that they were promoting, which they always do in these events. They promote another event, which I was all for. However, it was like $300 and it was a few days online. And I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just sign up for it, which we did. Best thing we ever did. Best investment because
Yeah.
investing in yourself is the best thing you can do, to be honest. Investing in your mind, body, that's your soul. And that's really what started at Tony Robbins. And from then on, we kind of just started like learning, like, we can't live life like this. Why are
Yeah.
we mad at each other for dumb things? Why?
I think that was the main thing. Like all that other stuff came because something inspired us. So like I think the main thing that inspired us was just the fact that we wanted to live a better life.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want to just be living kind of like the best life you can live for yourself. Being in the best attitude, being in the best moods. Um, proving to yourself, proving to your kids and everybody else around you that you are who you want to be and you get to be happy doing what you want to do. And I think slowly but surely we were figuring out that the group that we were hanging out with or the things that we were doing just weren't aligning with what we wanted out of life. And I think that's what inspired us to be like, you know what, let's click it. Let's do something, like whatever it is we got to do. Let's just put something out there, do something out there that we can feel proud about. And I think that was when we first started doing we ran into the Tony Robbins event.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Robbins came into our lives like two different times. One time it was you, one time it was me, and that kind of finally the second time we were both
On board. We're like, all right, let's roll with this
Yeah.
Tony Robbins
So
guy.
Tony Robbins started out. It inspired us to keep finding ourselves. The Tony Robbins events were amazing.
I mean, he's so big for a reason, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's so big and so impactful for a reason because the things he says just make sense. And that Tony Robbins is someone good for someone that's just starting off because he really covers every aspect of your life that
Yeah.
brings you happiness. And once you kind of learn in your life, like, okay, I'm really good in this part. However, I need to work in this part. You can start veering off to different things. You can
Yeah.
start veering off. Okay, you need to learn more about business. Hit up someone that does more business. Okay, I need to learn more about this. And from Tony Robbins, you learn that there's always someone out there doing better than you, right? Someone that already did that thing that you want to do or got to that point where you want to be.
Yeah.
Why aren't you mirroring what they're doing? Like they already got there. So learn those steps and learn from those people and take them on as your mentors.
Just
And to
find out what you want out of your own life first.
Mhm.
Like find out like what kind of life you want to live, and start like finding things that are going to get you there,
Mhm.
because you can go to all these events, but if you're never trying to really like find something and figure out what you really want to do, or not even like what you want to do, but just who you want to be as your own self, you're going to be still struggling because you're going to go back to the same routines of what you did before. So I think that's where that Tony Robbins kind of helps you guide yourself, and you're going around people, being around people who are in the same kind of headspace as you, and you start bettering yourself in that way.
I think something really important that you mentioned right now was that you said once find someone that kind of aligns with that, or you start going to these events. That's what it was. You mentioned like you start going to these events, and okay, I forgot what you said. But my point was My point was that the most important thing is to take action. Take action. You can go to all these events. You could keep
Yeah.
going, keep going, keep going. However, you might get stuck in the cycle. You might get stuck in the cycle if you're learning, learning, learning. However, you do not see a change in your life because you're not applying the things you're learning. You have to be applying whatever it is that you're learning. I think that's the one of the biggest things that we learned like this past year, like year one in our self-development journey, we learned so much.
Yeah.
However, we're still scared. We're still scared to apply these things that we learn. We know how to start a business, but we're too scared to do it. Why? Because it's not easy. It's
It's just
scary. We
I
know.
think the problem with it is like you feel uncomfortable doing it, and that's the hardest part. Like nobody wants to feel uncomfortable. Like everybody wants, that's why we stick to the same routines that we do every single day of our lives, is because I think you're just comfortable with it and you don't want to do anything out of your comfort zone because that just brings
Certainty.
uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And nobody wants to be uncertain. Everybody wants certain in a certain way of their life. So to be doing things like that out of your like ordinary, like it's gonna be tough. But that's how you grow. Like honestly, that is how you grow. Like the more that you're uncomfortable, the more
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna grow. Those are the things that like um, that trigger you to be like, oh my god, I did it once, I can do it again, and I can do it
Mm-hmm.
again, and then you keep telling yourself these things, and your body starts feeling, it's like, okay, well, hey, last time he didn't, we didn't go back to what we were doing last time, so your mind's like, okay, I guess we can do this, and then you start, elevating yourself little by
Mm-hmm.
little to the point where you get to this place, you're like, oh my god, like look how much I've accomplished in a month, let alone a
Yeah.
year, and time goes by, and you start seeing yourself as a better version every time. But back to the question.
Did we cover the
Yeah,
question? I think
I
we
think
did.
we did, but we kind of went a little bit off topic, about all of the
What's how we
development.
started our
Yeah.
self improvement journey? We definitely did cover that. And then the next part was how did it impact your relationship? Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's right. How did it impact your? I
Yeah,
didn't
so we
even see
covered
that.
the
Yeah.
first part. Let me tell you, I feel like I don't feel like I know it's been night and day because I can tell you who I was 2 years ago. Man, I was this girl. Short tempered for sure, very short tempered. I
Yeah.
would get mad. I would not talk. That was one thing for me. Like if I'm mad, I would just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. Like give me space. That was my thing. Give me space. I would run away because it was easier to run away from my problems and face them forward. It's
Yeah.
a lot harder.
Yeah.
But his way of approaching things were like, no, we're gonna talk about it right now, right here. We gotta air it out. And I was like, no. So we were very different in that sense. So
Yeah.
that really helped him with that part because the communication comes with the self improvement. You learn to communicate a lot better, and you realize that communication is key to everything. If you want a
Yeah.
good relationship, you need to learn how to communicate what's going on in your mind because they don't know how to read your mind. I would be like mad because he didn't do such and such, but it's like he didn't even know that was bothering me or that it was even a thing.
Yeah.
So communication is key. So I'm telling you, like I've changed so much ever since then. And one thing was communication. Another thing is like I said, my temper. Just learning how to be myself authentically, like not caring, legit not caring what people have to say because at the end of the day, you're the one living this life. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
no one cares.
For
You start
sure.
to realize that honestly, nobody really cares. Like, I started this YouTube channel. Not one person I know, like from my family or my friends, have ever watched my things. And like, usually you worry, like, oh my God, what if this person, like, if you really think about it, who is this one person? There's one person you went to school like 20 years ago. Like, they don't care. They have better things to do. Like, they legit don't care. Everybody is too worried about themselves that don't worry about it. Like, just
Yeah.
live your own life authentically. So I've learned that through self improvement. So it's really helped a relationship, communication, and just get along a lot better. Don't get me wrong, we still have our issues. Like, of course we do. But, however, we learn to communicate through it.
Yeah.
What did you want to add to that? We have a little.
I would say, like, if you don't have communication in your relationship, you're gonna struggle, like for sure. If you can't if you can't tell your wife how you actually feel or tell your husband how you actually feel, you're going to be struggling to keep a balance because you're going to just hold things in, hold things in, hold things in. Your wife's going to hold things in. You're never going to be communicating that way. And then what's going to happen is when you have a little argument becomes a huge argument because you've just been holding all these things in. So you start shouting at each other. All these other things have been happening. It's like, wait, How come you didn't tell me that whenever it bothered you? And it's just like it just keeps going and going, and like I feel because most people don't like confrontation. They'll rather just not deal with it. They'll rather just like, okay, whatever, like it happens before, it happens all the time, we're just gonna let it happen, and we make it so normal. So then that becomes your normal life, just living that lifestyle with your spouse. It's just like, oh, we're gonna get mad at each other, it happens all the time, like whatever. Like that's why, men and women don't get along or blah blah blah, because like we're so much different, like who cares, we're just gonna make up, tomorrow and forget about it. And that's not how it should be. It should be, hey, let's communicate what's going on, what's the big problem, like what is bothering you about me, or what did I do, or how can I make things better, or let's just work on something, that we can, I guess, at the end of the day, just build on. Because if you can't communicate in a way where you're both grown-ups, man.
Yeah.
Like you're grown up, you're not a little kid anymore, you don't need to be told what to do, in a sense. Like you're both grown, you need to be able to just sit there and have a confrontation with each other and be like, hey, this is bothering me. Because I know that one thing that I always had was just like, I always wore my heart on my sleeve. So like if I was upset, I was showing it right away. Like I'm fucking pissed. I'm letting her know by just my signs. I'm not talking, I'm pissed off, I'm looking away, or like just giving a little attitude. And I'm just like, what do I get from that? Just getting more mad and getting her mad? Like that doesn't help anything. Why don't we just, you know, cut to the chase? Hey, this is what bothered me. Like I don't like how you acted during that time, or I don't like how you treated me during this time. We need can we change it, or how can we, or what was your intention? This is how I felt. Because one thing I did learn about like the communication part is like you can't be mad at somebody for feeling a certain type of way, because that's how they feel. That's their perspective. Like you don't know what perspective. Just because you feel a certain type of way about what happened, it doesn't mean like they have to feel a certain way. They can see your point of view once you talk about it. That's where communication comes in. But if you're just sitting there, like playing the victim, or like feeling like, hey, like this is how I felt, like you pissed me off and this and that, it's like, well, no, you took it the wrong way. Maybe, we don't know what she was meaning. I don't know what you were talking about. Like maybe you had something else in mind. But if you can't communicate in that way, then what's going to happen is just more and more problems, because you guys are never going to figure out each other. So communication is 100% the most, like the best thing that I learned from self improvement. Like just being able to communicate, and that just starts with yourself, and not having almost like an ego, because you kind of have to let that go. Not saying let go of your ego that makes you better, but the
Your
ego
pride,
that
like
pride.
the stuff that doesn't serve you, like, oh no, F this person because they did this. Like, I'm not gonna tell them. I'm gonna wait till they talk to me because they did, like that kind of, some people kind of get through those moments, kind of like, oh no, she
Yeah,
pissed me off. Why do I have to be the one to apologize? Like, that's your pride. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but that's your pride. Put that aside and be like, be the bigger person. Maybe they're having a hard day. Maybe they didn't have bad intentions and you took it the wrong way, like how he was mentioning. So, really think all that through. Like, it's really not worth it. And another point that I want to point out is um, letting go perfectionism. I think a lot of us, I'm speaking for myself, but we see like either in social media or maybe like other couples that we look up to, we see their relationships and we see like the happy parts, right? They people when they post, they're like, you're like, they have this
yeah,
perfect marriage, they're this perfect couple, they're always happy. So we visualize, we think it's a perfect thing. However, it's never going to be perfect, and you need to expect that it's never going to be perfect. You have two different people coming from different backgrounds, different genders, trying to come together in one household to come with one set of ideas. Of course it's going to be different. Of course you're going to have different issues. Like, opposites attract for a reason. Like,
yeah,
we're very opposite people, characteristic wise, personality wise, and that is okay. However, it's just finding that middle ground and finding like, okay, something's got to give sometimes. Like, maybe
yeah,
I don't want to do that thing, but for you, I'm going to do it because it means a lot to you.
yeah.
And then just like take and give, like sometimes we do something because of him, sometimes because of me. It's part of life. That's
Absolutely.
part of a relationship. Sometimes you have to struggle a little bit in a relationship, and that's what's called work. It's not easy. And it's already knowing that it's going to be work. Knowing that, I think it brings a lot of relief knowing that it's not going to be perfect.
Knowing, and then like just liking that, like know that it's a process and it's never going to be perfect, and that's the beauty of it. Because like how boring would it be for you and your wife to just be like at all time all the time. Like I don't know, I feel like that would be kind of like boring to me, like if it's just like there's
Used
no
to a
work.
like, uh-huh.
Yeah, like there's no work to it. Like you want to have to work for something, because then
Mm-hmm.
you just get bored. So I feel like relationships, there's reasons why there's obstacles and there's roadblocks and everything in your life and in relationships, because you need to work through those to get to the best part, and then you keep going and going. There's never a stop, there's always work to do. And
Mm-hmm.
regardless with yourself, with your spouse, and there's always some work to do and you can always grow together. So like when you get to this like a point where like now these problems that you guys are getting are more like, okay, well, we got through those little childish issues, now we're growing together now. We're building something bigger, so that's where more roadblocks come. How are we going to get there? So now you're working as a team,
Mm-hmm.
so now you're growing as a team, and it's just like making it like all those moments that you had, everything, they're gonna keep coming, but it's just knowing and falling in love with that whole process of going through a relationship, that it's never gonna be perfect and you're always gonna be growing together. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anywho, do you guys have any questions? I know we got one viewer on,
Right.
but like,
Thank you. Really appreciate the love
yeah, we had
being
somebody
down
right
here.
here. Let's see. Um, Cassio Vieira from Brazil. What's up? That was a little while
Hello.
back. And then we had
Hello
some
from
hello, hello.
California.
But we're in California. We're just touching bases on some relationship um, tips, like healing together, being self improvement, and what else?
I mean, the last 2 years, our main focus has been self improvement. So that's kind of like the best advice we can give right now, like in our relationship, self improvement, on your self reflecting yourself. So for us, has been things like cold plunges. He does his live cold plunges
Yeah.
most days, not every day, most days are live. You do shorts and cold plunges every day, but not live
Oh,
cold
yeah.
plunges every
No,
day
I've been doing cold plunges for
for about a year now.
350. Today was 358
He almost
straight
hits a
days.
year, so
I have it like, when is a year? Let's see.
365,
Yeah.
358,
So
like less than
59,
10 days.
60, 61, 62, 63, 64.
So
Next Saturday,
it's a year.
that's a
We're here to
year.
celebrate.
Celebrate
So that's kind of
the
what we've been
silver way.
dabbling with. Yeah, the silver way.
Celebrate the silver way. So,
Cold plunging and meditating. For me, I love journaling. So like self-reflecting, journaling, really finding yourself. I did a lot of shadow work in the beginning of the self-development journey. I think that's all so important and crucial to really learn who you are as a person, what really drives you,
does
what.
anybody out there do this, by the way? Continue.
So yeah, this kind of, you have any questions of those kind of sorts of things? We're your people. We got you.
Yeah, journaling,
Yeah.
cold plunges, and meditation. I don't really do much journaling. I did before. It wasn't even journaling. I would just like put down my meditations. Like, what is my
That's
intention for my
journaling, you know
meditation?
that, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't feel like journaling. I guess it's journaling, but
So pretty much what he would do is write down all of his thoughts in his head before meditating, and you guys,
yep.
that's journaling. Journaling is literally just writing what's on your mind. You can use it. It's like therapy. It's literally so therapeutic. You're writing. You're just letting go of all those thoughts in your head that you've been holding back. So being on paper, being on your phone, whatever method you use to journal,
Yeah.
that literally is therapy. You're letting it off your mind, so which is what you do with a therapist in their therapist office. So honestly, journaling doesn't have to be hard. It's just what's on your mind.
There you go.
Write it out.
Journaling. So journaling, meditations, and cold plunging. That's what we've been working on, and finding your purpose, finding your why. That is like
Purpose in this life, and
finding your why every day. If you can find a good why every day to your life, like to what you want your day to be, like you're gonna be successful. I think because you're gonna be grinding for that every single time. So first of all, let's talk about.
you want to cover something else before?
Yeah, let's see.
One more question. So we rambled quite a bit.
Yeah, we rambled.
So let's try to get more on topic.
Yeah.
But if you guys have any suggestions, what you want to hear, anything about cold plunging, meditating, maybe we'll do a whole separate video on that, on one of those.
I think this is a good question right here.
Which one?
How do you handle moments when one person is growing faster than the other?
You want to go first or want me to go first?
Whatever.
Okay, I'm just going to say like a little bit. It might not quite cover the question. I'm not going to quite answer the question, but okay, this is right. I'm taking with it. So pretty much.
So the question is, again, in case you just want.
How do you handle
Moments when one person is growing faster than the other.
Moments when one person is growing faster than the other. So we're both here as a team, right? We both want to grow together. Oh, let's get you on
Yeah.
camera. So we're here as a team. You know, we have kids. We're trying to grow together, elevate together. Like, no man gets left behind. However, like I mentioned earlier, you can't force anyone to do anything. Like, you just cannot. They'll take it the wrong way. They can take it as like you're being bossy. What, you think you're better than me? You know, all these kinds of things,
Yeah.
just all these negative things that come in mind.
That ego.
However, girl, we lead by example. You lead by example. That's my best advice I can give you. So as long as you know what you're doing, what's right, and your significant other, your teammate, whatever it is on board. Like, you guys already had this plan. Like, you know, we're gonna be these people. If you have to visualize, you have to write these things out, right? You talk about these things. Like, our plan is, let's get fit together, let's get strong together, let's get healthy
Yeah.
together, let's get our finances right, let's get our family getting right. You know, for us, it's communication, making time for each other. So
Yeah.
we know what our goals are, right? And you start noticing when it's slacking, like not waking up for the gym, not eating the right things, coming home a little moody. You lead by example. You still go to the gym regardless. You still eat the right things regardless. You still, you know, even if they're kind of giving you attitude sometimes, you still kind of give that
Yeah.
attitude back. And like, I noticed the way that you would do it with me is kind of like, um, I notice you're a little tired, a little frustrated, or a little flustered. And you like
Yeah.
use a little softener sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to be so direct, you know, because then I could be like, "What? I'm not frustrated. What do you
Yeah.
mean?" You know, it'd be like, "Hey, do you need
You little off.
a little off?"
Yeah.
You know, or like,
Do you need anything from me?
that's his main thing. Like, do you need anything from me? And then that's when I usually would be like, "Yeah, I just need to take a nap," because that's my main thing. Like, if I am kind of in a bad mood, a lot of times I just need to sleep,
Super
legit,
hungry.
or hungry. But usually it's sleep. Usually I'm just like, I honestly am just so tired. I need to sleep. I'll sleep, dude, and I wake up like, I feel like I come out hella chippy. I don't know.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I feel like I come out of the room like, hi, you know, like brand new, like, oh my gosh, I just woke up from
Yeah.
this long nap. But yeah, that's my advice. You still lead by example. What do you have to say about
All right. So the question is again, she just answered it. How do you handle moments when one person is growing faster than the other? I honestly, I have to say the same thing. It's just lead by example. I think the hardest part when you first start off like in this journey, that you are gonna get those moments where you're not gonna be on the same energy level as the other person. So you're and that Tony Robbins covers that, like your body's so used to being at a certain degree all the time, and then when you start picking yourself up a little bit, you tend to go up, to a higher degree of yourself. But somehow you find yourself, somebody in your life or anything happens and you kind of drop to that energy. So like we've had those instances, but I think over time, especially practicing and being around each other for so long, that and communicating, you start noticing that, like, hey, there's ways to motivate somebody, and you find ways to motivate them, because regardless, motivation's not always there, but if you can just spark something in with them to get to that level again, because they have it in them, and they're just probably going through a tough time. So just being able to communicate with them in a sense of like, hey, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you're better than this. You can get yourself back to this level, or you can make yourself get out of this funk. You know what I mean? You use your tools, use your whatever you've used, just use it. And like she said, I use like softener words, like just like, hey, how you doing? Like if you notice your spouse is not having a good day, like it's why are you gonna go over there and make it worse? So just be like, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything from me, or what can I do? Or is there anything on your mind that you want to get off? Like, I'm here. And I think that alone, anybody would tell you, like if she were to tell me like, hey, how's it going? Like, do you need anything from me, or do you need to tell me anything, or can I help you with anything? I think just having somebody there to like tell them anything that's on your mind, especially your spouse, I think that's a big already, like a way to like get them back to a level where they can succeed, get back. But as far as like growing faster than the other, like I feel like we've both gone through the same, like you've gone through a low and I've gone through a high, and then you've surpassed me, and like we're always just like that, but it's just keeping a balance together.
But I think
um
it's how you mentioned the beginning. In the beginning, yes, it does feel like one is growing faster than the other. I felt like you were kind of growing faster than I was because you got like deeper into the meditation. You've been a lot more disciplined with your eating.
yeah,
I've always liked to work out, but my eating is not there. And you know what they say, it's made in the kitchen. It's true.
yeah,
I can work out all you want. You cannot work out a bad diet. So it's like I wasn't seeing any progress. Um, so regardless, I always felt like you were a little steps ahead. However, I've never liked you to tell me what to do. So I think that was really hard for me. And I had to like communicate with him. Like, I don't like you to tell me like, hey, you're not going to the gym. What's going on? You know, I think, I think with that part, now you don't really tell me, or
yeah.
you more like, I love when he asks me like, hey, do you need anything from me? I love that because it gives me that, okay, like, okay, I could let him know like I'm just tired, or okay, let him know, you know, I had a stressful day at work, or whatever the case might be, you know? But oh my god, what point I was trying to say? I was trying to say a point. I just got so
Oh
off
my
track.
gosh.
I think my main thing was oh
You
my,
said something about growing. We were growing,
oh
and
yeah,
like
like
that
we're growing.
I was growing
Oh, okay,
faster.
okay, okay. I know where I was going with this. The main thing
This is why
is
it's a live
yeah,
podcast.
no
It's a live
edited.
podcast, so it's not edited. So we're gonna go through. We know you go through these things where you just forget about what you're saying and you lose your
I
train
don't
of thought.
care. I know what I'm
I
talking about
know
now. I remember
exactly,
now.
but
So the thing is, I was trying to say is, it's called self development because you're developing by yourself. So you have to do your inner growth. He had grown his own. I have to grow my own, and then we come together as a couple and grow as a couple. So this is where it's really important. You're doing your self inner work. You're learning for yourself. You're learning your limited beliefs. You're learning what's bothering. You're learning all these things, right? So when the growth comes, you start to reflect on your own. I see him going to the gym, I see him meditating, and he doesn't have to tell me.
yeah,
I look at him like, damn, I know I need to be doing that. So I start reflecting, like, oh my God, I haven't been doing what I know I should be doing, what I know I must be doing, what I know I could be doing. So your own self-reflection. So that's self-development because you're doing
yeah,
it on your own. So he doesn't have to tell me, because then I go and think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that thing because I'm better than that. How did I let that get to me? Or like, oh my gosh, and you start just thinking about these things. And the next time that morning comes around, you're waking up for the gym because you know better. You're like, oh my gosh, I know better. Like, he doesn't have to tell me.
yeah,
I'm going to get up because I know better. I don't want to feel guilty about it because of myself, not because of him pushing me. Yourself, you know, and that's my where I'm getting with that self development.
yeah.
That in a journey, if you're both on the same thing, you're both self developing, growing together. You don't need anyone to push. You don't need that motivation and discipline at that point. No, discipline you do need, but you don't need that motivation. You always need discipline.
The thing about it is like people think motivation's there all. You need motivation all the time. Motivation is not.
Comes and goes.
Motivation is probably there 1% of the time. Honestly, for me, I don't know about you
You have
guys,
to feel
but
great, and it's like a few days,
yeah.
a month.
So like to have motivation every day, like that's tough. If you have discipline, that's what's gonna get you there. But
Discipline our
going
habits.
back to that, sorry, going back to that question, I think it just goes back to the same thing. It's like you are who you surround yourself with. You're around your spouse every single day. So imagine you being the shittiest person ever. What do you think you're gonna be doing? You know, you're gonna be rubbing that off on your partner. So like if you could just show up for yourself every single day and be the best version of yourself, your spouse is gonna notice that and they're gonna be like, man, I need to get to that. I need to get to that, you know, and you're surrounding yourself with these positive thoughts, positive energy all the time. What's gonna happen is that you guys are gonna just spark each other up all the time. You know, and that's what you want out of a couple. You know, you don't want just, you know, whatever you think a relationship is. A relationship is just, you know, it's work, it's passion, it's love, and it's putting all those things together. And that comes with communication and just building that confidence with each other. And like how we said, like surrounding yourself with good people and surrounding in putting yourself in like a good energy all the time, that the next person around you is going to be right up there with you.
I
All
think
right.
that's good. We should do another one another day.
Yeah, pretty much it. We can. We'll end it with this one right here. It's a fun one. What's our next practice or habit you want to try together next? That is a good
Oh,
one.
that's a good one because I don't know. We're very into meditating. We were supposed to go to Joe Dispenza event this weekend. Actually, we were supposed to be in LA right now, but unfortunately, the wildfires that are going on
In LA,
in
yeah.
LA, yeah, so they rescheduled that. So, with that being said, I want to try something meditation wise, like something crazy. I don't know. I haven't even mentioned it to you, but
Wow.
like some kind of ayahuasca retreat or something.
It
But
would take
he,
a lot for me to do
I
something
know
like
you're not
that.
really into that.
Yeah.
So, as a couple, that's what I something.
What's one? You want to know what's one that
What?
just even today was like going to church? Yeah,
Oh
that's one
yeah,
for
that's one
sure.
for sure. That we've been very like, have we have faith, just very trying to find a church to go to, and today it's crazy because
We've known this couple for a while now. About not a while, but maybe like half a year. And
amazing couple,
amazing
by the way.
couple.
They're just like so sweet.
We met them through coaching soccer with like the little community. We started getting more involved with the community. So we started, just attracting those kind of people around us. And we've been really keen on like, man, we need to like, we got through some stuff and then we're like, man, we need to really get into like what church we're going to go to or figure out like what kind of faith, because like I feel like that's one thing that I'm missing in my life is just having that connection with God more and having that faith. So all of a sudden we were looking for a church. Next thing you know, this couple, we met with them today and they're like, oh my God, like they were talking about this church that they go to and it was just the exact same kind of church that we've been looking at going to. So I think that's one practice and one habit that I do want to make is just going to church
Yeah.
together and
So
as a family.
we plan to check it out next week.
Yeah,
So we'll
next
see how that
Sunday.
goes.
We already had plans for tomorrow, so that's out the door. But next Sunday, we'll talk about how
Do you want to know about our church
how
experience?
how our first church experience was. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys honestly, if you guys are on, anybody who's on and want to ask a quick question, I really wanted to take some time to see the chat, but we didn't have that many views today or anybody on the chat. That was from earlier. But yeah,
We appreciate your time, and we'll
yes.
definitely do this. This is fun.
This
We'll
was
definitely do this
yeah,
another
this
time.
was really fun. I think we can do this. We can make this a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're gonna put some things together, and we're gonna try to make sure that we can come on here at
Stay
least
consistent.
once a week, stay consistent, and just ramble. And then like we could either like we can debate too. About stuff. About couples
I
and
like to debate.
debate and how we can make ourselves better and then just build a community of people who are just looking for advice who we can get advice from as well. I know there's people out there who can give us great advice, but it's just about building a community who's somebody you can come out here and just have good vibes, good energy, and enjoy, have a good laugh, and just enjoy your couples time. You know what I mean? So maybe we just name it couples times. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think we should name this, but I had a really good time.
Me too.
And it's late at night. We can make it a little earlier.
Yeah, I know. I was tired. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, then we're gonna go to sleep. But let's go.
But
record
we
something."
did
Okay.
say we were like we said we needed to get this done. I was like we need to get this done because if we don't get this done, like we're just gonna keep postponing it. And now that we did it and we see how fun
It's
it
like, oh,
is,
it's
like
easy.
now it's easy. So now it's like, hey, I kind of want to do it again already. You know what I mean? But anywho, thank you for you guys who
Live in
left-
gratitude.
It's backwards because
Is
we
it
have
really?
because we have the camera facing the other
Oh.
way, but it does say live in gratitude. That's our main goal.
Yeah, we-
Always live in gratitude. I guarantee you it'll change your life.
Yes.
So, Live in Gratitude podcast live every Saturday or Sunday, 8 p.m.
We'll post more details.
But all right, thank you.
Bye. Good night.